Hello everybody, welcome to episode 1. Your volume is really loud, you can hear me. No, we're okay. Welcome to the first ever episode of Two Geeks Podcast, or The Two Geeks Podcast, or Two Geeks Talking About Geeky Stuff. The podcast, whatever you want to call it. It's a working progress title. I'm here with the legend that is Stephen. How are you doing?
Hello!
How long has it been since we actually properly caught up?
Oh, God. What was it, 2023? No, 2022.
22, yeah. I genuinely think the last time me and you had a proper conversation, it was on an Instagram Live.
That's right. It probably would have been, that's right. Because last time I saw you in person would have been the premiere.
Oh, God.
Of a little TV show we did together.
If people aren't aware already, that is how me and Stephen met almost 2 years ago now. It was when we first met. Was it April 2022? Oh, have you frozen? Oh, we're pushing the limits of the internet. No, you just had a bit of a delay.
You've gone quiet on me, though.
Yeah, because I was waiting to hear from you.
Oh, right.
I think we're pushing the abilities of the internet right now. Plus, we're both are avid movers when we talk. We don't stay still. Yeah. The camera's trying to keep up with us.
I'm with you.
Oh, that's it. I'm still doing... Sorry. Bosh, there we go. I shouldn't have much of a problem now because I was still sharing my screen on Discord.
I see.
So my internet was streaming everywhere. What was I saying? I was saying we met in April of 2022.
Indeed.
Which was 2 years ago. And the last time we probably spoke was on Instagram about a year and a half ago because we can't have a conversation unless the whole world gets to watch.
Exactly.
And so we figured let's make I was going to say career. That's a thought, isn't it? Let's make a career out of it.
That's a tall order, but it's doable.
End goal. Let's make something fun of it and let's include everybody else and just have a really good excuse to talk about anything and everything, but predominantly it falling under the domain of geek.
Yeah.
And
100%.
What a week to choose to start.
I know. The more we were talking about this podcast, the more another bit of news would come out.
It's mental. It's like...
Whether it be a new trailer or a new update or something like that.
It's mental. It's like, honestly, when I asked you, shall we do this podcast next week, I came up with a list of things to talk about, and it was predominantly geeky things I was currently obsessed with. So they weren't even like relevant things. It's like...
Yeah, not even like current.
Yeah, it's like I finally bought Baldur's Gate 3 like about Christmas time, and I've been playing the ever-living crap out of it. And I was like, right, I need to talk to Stephen about Baldur's Gate 3. And D&D in general.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we will touch upon that in a minute. I don't know if you've played it, but oh my god.
I haven't. I have accidentally... Well, I'll say accidentally. I've seen the ending, or an unending you can get.
Right.
Because my friend was playing it just before we watched that episode of, like, the new episode of Doctor Who, which was The Giggle. He was finishing the game, so I got to see the ending, even though I had no idea what was going on.
That I can imagine that's a really good like sales tactic. Actually, it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh,
Yeah.
just finishing this game, and it's like, oh, this is really interesting. Who are these people? Well, how did they get here?
Yeah, there was a lot of questions. I'm a big D&D lover. Well, I say big. I like D&D, so it did grab my attention.
So it should. It's so good. It's like I could literally go on about it for ages. So yeah, that was like the big thing. That I was like, right, I need to talk to Stephen about Baldur's Gate 3, which we will touch on more. But then literally I was like, okay, and then this, and then the Marvels came out at Disney Plus, so I finally sat down and watched that. So I was like, right, I need to talk about that because
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
So I actually haven't watched. I was actually going to watch it yesterday, but I just ran out of time. Yeah, so it's one of the ones I haven't watched, but I was never not looking forward to it. I just never got a chance to catch it at the cinema, and then I was waiting for it to come to streaming, and it's there now. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. But I imagine I would like it.
See, you are a better person than me because I like to think I don't get swayed by personal, but not by the public opinion. It's usually a case of, oh well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch it. However, when the Marvels came out, and I kept seeing like adverts for it in cinema, and I was like, it's like I don't know why. It's just I'm not feeling it. I'm in no desire to go watch it at cinema, which I do think is due to just the general public disdain towards it for no bloody reason.
Yeah.
But then it came out on Disney Plus. I was like, right, well, it doesn't cost me anything, well, except for my Disney Plus subscription, but obvious. I sat down and watched it, and halfway through it, I was thinking to myself, I am so gutted I did not go to watch this at cinema. I'm actually really enjoying this. It's a good movie. I was laughing, and I was like, this is good. I don't know why people hate this. I mean,
Yeah.
I
mean, I know some of the people that I work with didn't like it. And it's not that they would. It's not like they would necessarily sway me because I usually watch things anyway. Like I'm a huge defender of the Daredevil 2003 film with Ben Affleck.
Oh.
I unironically love that movie. So if that's my bar to meet, it's very easy for me to watch anything. But no, I just haven't got around to watching it. And I do remember like people at work were telling me like I think they were giving it like 2 stars or something like that, and I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, I will. Here's the problem. Okay. We might be getting into heated territory here, but luckily me and us are very mellow guys. But I think the general problem with cinema goers, movie critics, well, for one, everyone's a movie critic these days.
Yeah.
And I feel like the smallest things now people will latch onto and make them huge, and it'll be the problem for them. Because it's like watching that movie. Like I won't go into any details because even though it's been out for months and a lot of people have seen it, you've not seen it. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but things happen like every now and then. Things will happen, and you're just kind of like, what was the point of that? That was a bit weird. That was a bit random. Okay, whatever. And then you look past it. Or that's what I do. It's like, okay, the rest of the movie can carry us. But then you see other people like, oh, this was it. Completely took me out of the movie. And I'm like, no, it didn't. It's like 2 hours of film, and there's about 15-20 minutes of dotted around.
Yeah.
So is any movie.
I mean, I'm saying that now, but like, I was going to see Madam Web, but all the reviews of that have taken a right turn. I don't normally listen to reviews like that, but when everyone is telling me not to watch it, that's usually when I'm like, oh, okay, I might sit this one out.
I think I was the same as you. There was a tiny part of me at one point that I was like, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe they've got some like little Easter eggs in there and it'll be fun and different. And then the reviews started coming in. I think I can't remember I think it was this morning actually. I was scrolling through TikTok and like the first 5 videos I saw were different people. The first one being our good friend Henry Calvert. And then underneath that was about 4 other people's reviews of Madam Web. And I only watched Henry's all the way through, but every other single one I watched would start with, I just saw Madam Web. Oh my god, it's the worst movie ever. It was literally how everyone started. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna give it the time of day.
I think just before I saw Henry's version, I think there was a guy who was on TikTok, and the first thing he said was, I would rather watch Morbius, and that told me everything I had to know about how I would probably find Madam Web.
That's fair. To be honest, though, I remember, because I didn't watch Morbius for a really long time until I think I found it on Sky Cinema, and I was like, might as well give it a go. And that's a movie where you just feel, well, I for one just felt indifferent throughout the whole thing. It's like, I don't hate it, but I'm not like, oh my god, this is really good. I'm just kind of watching it and like, oh.
That's because I like the first Venom movie. I really like the first Venom. I could watch the first Venom
love
movie. I
the
could
first Venom
happily
movie.
stick that on. The second Venom movie, the Let There Be Carnage one, I always describe that as a film that I will never go out of my way to watch. However, if it's on TV and I'm just scrolling through channels, I would probably watch it. That's how I would describe how I would go for the second
That
Venom movie.
that's fair, yeah. So like, if you were bored and you looked for something to watch and it was there, you're like, I'm alright. But if you were bored and you were
Yeah.
flicking and it was on, you're like, I suppose it's not the worst thing on. But
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever hear me say the words out loud of, hey, you want to watch Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage?
it's such a shame though, because like the first Venom, I don't know how many times I've seen it. I've probably seen it about 5 times already,
Yeah.
which is probably not a great deal in the scheme of things. But it is such a good movie, and I don't think there's a single part of that movie where I'm like, boring. But Let
Yeah.
There Be Carnage, I feel like there was so much hype around Let There Be Carnage because Carnage is in it and Woody Harrelson, who's an amazing actor. And then it came out, and you're watching it, and you're just kind of like, why is this not working for me?
Yeah.
It should be. Everything that's in this movie should be working great, but it's not. And it just
Yeah.
kind of feels meh.
I think for me, it was the fact that I don't need every film to be like R-rated, but when a Carnage movie's coming out, I feel like you expect
Carnage?
a little bit more than you get in that film. You expect some form of carnage.
Yeah, it's just generally disappointing. I can't remember most of it, to be honest, 'cause I watched it once, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
that'll do me. However,
There
if
was
they are
a
making
deleted
it,
scene. Yeah, there was a deleted scene that was shared on Twitter for a while. But it was all like just drawn. It wasn't like actual deleted footage. But it was showing like a very violent breakout of the prison
yeah,
scene that you didn't get in that movie. And I was like, this deleted scene already seems better than what we got because it's
yeah.
just very toned down. And I get it. I get you're trying to sell your Venom film to like all ages, but it's really not how you want to see Carnage.
Which then brings back to the whole debate of something that we will touch on a lot more later on. But Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds has proved you can make an R-rated comic book movie that people absolutely love. He's done it twice,
Absolutely.
and he's definitely
Yeah.
doing it a third time. So
Yeah.
it's like, why are you making these characters that you could do R-rated and be absolutely amazing and everyone will love, but you choose not to because you're like, oh, yeah, we the target audience is kids. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, a kid has to ask his parents to go to the cinema, so you should really be aiming for the parents because those are the ones paying. And
I mean, I think it's the one thing that Sony should have over Warner Brothers and Marvel right now is the fact that, technically speaking, they should be able to make R-rated films
true.
aimed at more adults if they really wanted to. That maybe have characters from the Spider-Man universe.
And do it well.
Yeah. Like I'm
I don't know
looking
about
forward to Craven, but it's a very low optimism.
It's like the closer it gets, it just keeps going.
But I think that I like all the actors that are in that film, and I think I'm gonna have a good time with it. But I'm not jonesing. I'm not like really desperate to see the Craven film.
Yeah, I think I'm going into it with like the same excitement as I had for Morbius.
Yeah,
So it's like, if something comes up and I'm able to go see it in the cinema, sure, why not? But more than likely, I'm going to wait
Yeah.
until it's available on something, give it a watch, and then I might really enjoy it. Because let's be honest, it is a superb cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson is great. The other one, whose name I suddenly forgot,
Russell Crowe.
that's the one. Shame on me. He's a great actor, so it should be good. It's just, and to be honest, I think it's a similar thing with Morbius, which is I don't actually know that much about the comic book character.
Yeah,
So I don't go into it like some people do, and like, oh my god, they completely butchered the character from the comic books. It's like, I don't know the character from the comic books, so whatever they portray, as long as it's done well, I'll probably enjoy it.
exactly. I mean, technically speaking, if that was the case, you would be the target audience for that film. Like, realistically, if you don't know who Craven is, that's what these films are for. They're to get you into Craven.
Exactly.
I know that there has to be a certain element of fan base. Like, I think it's hard to make a film just for fans who know the character, where really you're trying to get the people that don't know them.
Yeah, you need to find that common ground, which I think a lot of comic books do when they do a lot of, like, even the MCU is guilty of this, where it's they take a character, they take a lot of the fundamental stuff from their origins and the comic book stories, and then they just adapt them into a way that you can introduce it to a modern audience and people can get along. And for the most part, early doors anyway, people were a lot more accepting of it.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's a case of people are like, oh my god, they've changed this, they've completely ruined the character. It's like, they haven't really changed the whole thing. I'm terribly sorry, I'm just doing some Twitch admin-y stuff because someone has said hello, to which I want to say hi back to, but for some reason, it's not appeared on my screen.
It's appearing on mine. Oh, it's Sam. I know Sam. Hello.
Hello, Sam. Thanks for following and saying hello. It's weird. It's
His
not
best man at his wedding.
Respect. But no, I'm terribly sorry if something happens. Stephen, entertain the folks while I quickly do some.
As we go over all the details of films we both want to see and don't want to see.
Cinema. I feel like we could speak for an hour just about.
Just on that topic alone.
Just about movies.
Because, I worked with Aaron Taylor Johnson before, if you can call it that.
I think I remember you telling me this story.
I was an extra in a movie that filmed in Scotland for Netflix, which was Outlaw King with Chris Pine. And Aaron Taylor Johnson was in that as well. So I got to kind of meet them both. Didn't talk to them, because I was just an extra, and they were very clear about don't interact with them unless they talk to you.
Don't talk to the stars.
It was like, I feel like it was very much a don't look at them unless they look at you or something like that. And it was very like, I'm just going to treat them like a normal person, man.
That's fair.
Because I won't lie to you, people in Scotland, like, we don't care. We will just do what we want. We try and not hold people high. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I like that mentality.
Yeah, like if you try and tell us a celebrity don't look at them, we're all going to look at them. We don't care. I think every person that I worked with as an extra in that film were all people that were like joiners, like people who like work on like construction sites, so they didn't give a shit. Are we swearing? Have we covered that?
I don't think we've explicitly said it. However, I do believe in channel bio I've put heads up there will be foul language.
That's fine, as long as I can say it. So yeah, we don't give a shit.
Oh no, that's like the perfect mentality to have.
But no, it was a lot of fun, and like he was funny. Well, I say funny. He wasn't meant to be funny. He was playing. So Chris Pine played Robert the Bruce in that film, and he was playing like Robert the Bruce's like right hand man, whose name I can't remember. And part of the scene that I was doing with Aaron Taylor Johnson, I was supposed to be playing like an enemy clan person. Like I was just a random extra in this enemy clan, and Aaron Taylor Johnson, we were at this like cold loch, and he started dipping his head into the water and bringing it back out, and was just like screaming to himself, like he was going really method with it, but he would like look us all dead in the eye, like mad. He was mad at us, and the whole time I remember sitting there being like, he knows this is a movie, right? Like he knows this isn't real. I need him to understand that he will not be attacking us.
You stood there like, I'm about to get murdered by Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever meet him, I'll be telling him this story, because I think it's super funny.
So you should. If you ever get to be part of like a journalist racket or whatever they're called, like promotion racket, if you get a chance to interview people, you should definitely like lead with that. It's like, we've met before, I thought you were going to kill me.
Yeah. I'm sure he won't remember a thing about that film by the time I talked to him about it, because it was so long ago at this point. I was like 2017, I think it was, that happened.
That is a throwback.
Yeah.
It's a movie that, in the nicest way, I have never heard of it.
It's on Netflix. I won't lie to you, I was an extra in that film, and I have barely seen it. I did watch it once.
To try and find yourself.
But I was in and out of the film, I won't lie to you. Not that it was bad, I don't want to say anything bad about it, I just don't really remember much. I think I put it on while I was doing other things, so I just didn't catch a lot of it.
I still think
I know you can't see me in it, I know that.
Oh, that's going.
That's all my family and friends were telling me that. But I mean, I expected that. I'm an extra. I got paid like what, £500 or something for that, for like 3 days work. It was fine with me.
There you go. You have a much better extra story than me, because that's cool. To say you were an extra in a movie with Chris Pine and Aaron Taylor Johnson is cool. I was an extra on a CBBC show.
Oh, superb.
For one episode. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Tagging or Lagging or something like that. Don't ask me what it's about. Actually, no, you can ask me what it's about. The basic synopsis, from what I gathered, is it's a show that follows a group of like, I don't know how old they're meant to be. They're like proper young kids, like year 6, year 7, like age kids who are geeks. I have no idea what happens in this show. All I know is that the last episode they go to a gaming convention.
Okay.
And they needed extras who were cosplayers to look like they were at a convention.
Do you remember you telling me this? That's right.
And so basically, that being said, unlike you, in the episode you can see me at least 4 times. But yeah, that was a day in Manchester that I had to get there at like 6 o'clock in the morning, dressed as Green Arrow. And I was just stood in the background while I was patiently waiting for these kids to get their lines right. Because there was one scene that we were doing. I felt proper important because the extra director or whatever, he's like, okay, you're going to do this. I'm like, okay, when they say action, I want you to start walking, and then you're going to turn around and go up these stairs. I was like, cool, not a worries. But I started with the camera. So the camera was here, and I was stood right in front of the camera. He'd say action, the camera would go, I would walk with the camera, and then I'd go up the stairs, and the camera would focus on this kid at a computer. And so he'd go action, I'd walk, I'd turn around, I'd go up the stairs, and then what I gathered was by the time I got to the top of the stairs, this kid was meant to say his line. He was meant to turn around and say his line. And he'd do it, and then the director would go, cut, reset, and then he talked to the kid. And so the only person who had to move was me and the cameraman. I had to run back down these stairs and get back to position. And we did this about 7 times. And by the end of it, I'm like, dude, just get your line right. I'm knackered. But no.
I mean, I kind of wish I could have done that to Chris Pine. It would have been really funny.
Oh no, I did not turn around to the kid and say, dude, get your line right. I was just stood there quietly like, but then we go, okay, here we go. I was like, oh, that's my extra story. I can't even remember how much I got paid for that, but that was a fun day.
Yeah, see, yours was a day. Like I had to travel up to Aviemore, and I was there for about 4 days, but only filmed for 3 or something like that.
See, that's cool. That's like a proper like filming story. You know, oh, I was on set for 4. Did you have were you in like a whole costume department?
Yes, so I do have a picture somewhere of the costume because there was I mean, I don't want to make this whole podcast about my extra experience, but like I had to get up. So it was in Aviemore. It's not like a big town, but it is beautiful. And I was basically staying in a camping site in a tent.
Classic.
And then I would just get up at like 5 a.m., meet the people that I had to meet, get into costume, and then we would go do whatever scene they wanted us to do. There was one day I basically got paid to do nothing because they were meant to film like an action scene, but because it took so long to get set up and because of the rain, they just couldn't do it the way they wanted to. So I just got to get paid to just chill in a tent all day.
Nice.
But for the like costume, we weren't really meant to get pictures or anything. Luckily for me, one of the people had snuck a phone in, and they were just like taking everyone one by one, being like, "Hey man, come see this," and you go like behind the tent, you'd be like, "I'm gonna take a quick photo and send it to you." So we all got a picture of ourselves, which I thought was really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I remember they gave me 2 swords, and the way the scene was meant to go is we're meant to like run around and pretend we're pillaging this village. And because they gave me 2 swords, they told me just to go wild. They told all of us. It was just like, all right, go wild, run around, run in and out of places, look like you're screaming and roaring and all that stuff. So they gave me like a tiny shield, 2 swords, one in like a holster and one in my hand, and I was like, I wonder if they'll care. So I just like threw my shield. Every time they said action, I threw my shield away, just started taking out 2 swords and running around screaming. And again, you still don't see me. But it would be funny if you just saw a random guy running with 2 swords screaming in the circle. It might be why they probably cut him out. Probably going, that guy got too into his role, we're going to take him out.
They're reviewing it. It's just like, okay, so here's the lead. But if you just look like an inch to the right, there's this crazy man running around with 2 swords. And he's distracting. So I
just thought it was very bizarre because I don't think... I mean, because it was meant to be quote-unquote historically accurate. I mean, not like historically accurate. But there was enough of history in there to make it kind of accurate. And I just don't know how often you would have seen 2 people running around with, a man running around with 2 swords in his hand. I just don't think it's a very effective way to pillage. But I did it anyway, and I got away with it. They never said, stop that man, get him out of here.
You had fun, that's the important thing.
Indeed.
Going back to you saying someone snuck their phone in and was taking pictures, to bring it back to the obvious, which will be mentioned all the time, if there's one thing I regret from our time on Beauty and the Geek, it is not sneaking my phone and getting behind the scenes pictures and stuff.
Of like the actual like events and
yeah,
stuff.
of like the
Yeah.
set and all that stuff, and just the fun of the behind the scenes things. There was so much stuff that we didn't get to capture, and it hasn't been seen, and it's just a shame because like, all the pictures we got were like from when we were on the bus or when we were in the flats.
Yeah.
And so it's just not really.
Well, look, I mean, I don't want to make this let's dunk on the people that employed us for a bit, but I thought they were going to send us. I thought they were going to send us some behind the scenes stuff, and all I ever got was like an occasional trailer.
Yeah, it was weird because when we were filming, there was usually every day there was a guy going around with a camera, and he was taking pictures, and he was like, "Oh, I'm guessing it's for like promotion stuff and things we could post." And we're all like, "Oh yeah, we can't wait to see that." And that's probably why none of us were really bothered about getting our own pictures because it's like, are you still waiting for that picture you got with Matt and Molly?
Yep. To this day, I mean, it's never going to happen. It's long gone now. Like me and Abby never got that photo, and we made a whole thing about getting that photo.
I remember, yeah.
And they just never got it to us.
Yeah, I never got
it to us.
That is a big chunky message that just came through.
I think it's a promo thing.
Yeah, that seems botty. Oh yeah, go to Streamrise. Annoyingly, it's still not appearing on the actual stream. I have a box here. I have a box underneath our boxes.
It does say chat on the box.
That says chat, and the chat. Sorry, but it's meant to come up there. It's like everything worked. Why is it not working? Yeah. Why'd you do this to me?
All right. It's always the episode 1 jitters. It's the pilot.
There you go. Yeah, it's like this. It's teething. So it's fine. I haven't even read the whole message. I just read the first line and then I read at the bottom. Go to Streamrise. Hey Ram, don't worry. I remember who you are. You're Squiddy's girlfriend. But hey, how are you doing? So Remy is an old friend of mine's girlfriend.
Oh, superb. Hello, Rem.
I haven't spoken to her maybe like once or twice. She seems like a really cool person. And so, thank you for coming. Just making sure. No problem. Thank you for joining us. We were just talking about our time on Beauty and the Geek, which I'm sure will come up 101 times throughout the podcast in general.
I mean, it's how we met. It's our origin. It's allowed to be brought up.
That's fair, yeah. If it wasn't for the show, we never would have met.
Indeed.
And so we're going to talk about it a lot, and just the fact that there were so many really good pictures that were taken that we never got to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I am still glad that I got the pictures that I got, even though I wasn't there that long. Well, I was there for a good few weeks, but I'm glad I got to get the pictures with the guys and stuff.
Sorry, I was there a good few weeks. It took 3 weeks to film that.
I know. So I was there, the first week and then the last week, something like that?
Something like that. It's really
like
weird.
A week off. Did I tell you the story of like me going home?
Yeah, which seems so. Yeah, you were for like 2 days or something, and then
I like told work, being like, "Yeah, I'm kicked out. I'll be back to work," and then I just instantly had to phone them right after and be like, "Never mind. I'm having to come back, but I'm sneaking it, so I'm gonna have to take that time off again." But they were still like, "Oh, can you come in for 2 days?" So I just went back to work for 2 days, and then bounced again.
That's crazy, but I love it anyway. Sorry, I am listening and I love talking to you, but this chat thing is
it's bugging
me off.
It's grinding your gears.
It should work. I don't know if it was because maybe when I started it, it was for Twiggy Smith, and now it's different. So, pardon me. I don't know if I can swap. Let's see if I can. I'm just going to be clicking some buttons.
That's all right.
Oh! Okay, it now says 2 Geeks Pod.
Okay. So in theory, if someone adds it to the chat, it might appear in the chat box.
It might. If people want to keep saying hi, Ram.
If anyone wants to send us a little chat in the chat box so we can see if that's working, that would be grand.
But don't get your hopes up. Twitch doesn't like
Twitch doesn't like you.
Hi,
if that's going to come up in the chat box, what a way to start.
I hope that comes up in the chat box. What a way for Amelia to... Hey! It's... Boom! I think... Oh, did it work? I'm looking at
not on my screen, but it could just be delayed on mine.
I'm on. I have like so many tabs right up. Is it working? I can see it. I can see it on one thing, but on
if you can see it, then I assume they can see it.
Oh, I have an idea. Bosh. Okay, that didn't work. It didn't work.
Oh, Rem said it didn't work, so they're not seeing it.
But it should work. That's the thing.
It's like whatever you're seeing, they are not seeing.
I literally have the software that I created. Ooh! I'm not imagining that. That emoji came through.
Yay! Something's appeared. I see something in the box. It's the
Technology.
emoji. We saw the emoji before we saw anything else.
We saw the crying face.
Hilarious.
But hey, we're only about 33 minutes into our first stream, and we've got the chat working.
There we go.
Well, hey. Also, hello, Amelia, if you're sneaking in. I don't know if you're still here. Thanks for the insult, if nothing else. I'm just helpful. Thank you, Rem. You have sorted out something that was really grinding my gears, so I appreciate that. Sorry while I shift around.
Fantastic.
Superb is your thing, not mine. I'm not going to stop doing that.
Don't even get me started. We were talking about... This is a random thing I'm going to bring up. We were talking about, you know, if you were like a toy, like Woody, and you had a little string, like what your catchphrases would be. And mine's is still superb, Shan. Although some words keep getting added now because I keep picking up phrases that other people say. Like my friend keeps saying baller, so now I keep saying baller. I've got another friend who keeps saying grim. Now I say grim.
I know that fact. But no, yeah, if I had to think of a word or a phrase for you, it'd be superb.
Superb comes up a lot, and most things are superb. Like chat, I'm gonna let you know right now. Everything that I measure from is either superb or Shan. Shan just means bad if you don't know what that means.
Unless it's really bad, and then it's shit.
Then it's grim.
Oh, grim. Okay. I was thinking about what would my phrase be, because I go through so much thing. No worries, Ron. Thank you for lurking. If you hear anything that is like interesting, feel free to pop up. What was I going to say? Things
we might need you again for any IT stuff.
I need you to come fix the stream. What was I going to say? I say Bosch a lot.
All right.
Like if something's going well, you sort of something like Bosch, sorted. No, I think about it. I think my catchphrases change on a weekly basis.
That's fair.
I used to say fair dues a great deal.
I feel like you said that a lot when I was around you.
Fair dues. Oh, yeah. I probably had so many catchphrases during the cast of that show. Anyway, should we talk about some geeky stuff?
Yes, let's dive in.
Let's dive into some proper geeky stuff. Should we go proper recent up-to-date stuff?
Sorry, 2 seconds. My mum has just texted me saying, Stephen, I can't chat. Do I have to download app? It's a classic mum message there.
Rem, we need you to help with IT.
I believe you need an account on Twitch to chat, don't you?
You need an account to chat, yes.
Yes.
But you don't need to download it.
I'm going to text her even though she might be watching, so...
Just to be extra sure.
Yeah.
I'm getting followers.
Yes, hit me with some geeky chat. Hit me what's been blowing your mind recently?
Oh, blowing my mind recently.
Are we going to do the recent stuff first, or build up?
That's what I'm thinking. Should we do recent stuff like now, and then just go into like random shenanigans?
Probably better to stick with the new stuff.
So the new stuff. Okay, so much new stuff recently. I don't know where to begin.
I think we should probably start with the biggest thing right now, which is probably Deadpool 3.
I was going to say that was the top of my list, was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah,
because
I think that's probably the big one to start with.
God, I was already so excited for this movie. I remember when they revealed the Deadpool look, and then the next day they revealed the Wolverine look, because this was during the phase where I was like, right, I'm going to be one of those cool newsy TikTok guys that makes videos about information. That didn't last long, but I remember making videos about this because, like, oh my god, it's like, what a way to like promote your movie when there's no material. It's just like, oh hey, look, this is my new Deadpool suit, and oh, but here's Hugh Jackman in a blue and yellow Wolverine costume.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it was Twitter that showed me. It was obviously the behind the scenes filming, and like people had already captured him in the suit, and I was already buzzing. I had such mixed feelings with Hugh Jackman coming back.
Really?
Because I thought his send-off was so well done in Logan that I was scared for him to come back. But then the minute he showed me the suit, I'm like, that was the one thing I kind of wanted before he left. I was like, I just wanted to wear the suit once. Just once. And I'm getting it.
There you go. I could go into a debate about Logan, to be honest, because I think it's a very overrated movie, in my personal opinion.
I
like it. It's good. I've only seen it the once.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I enjoyed it, but I
think I've seen it twice at the cinema, and then I saw the noir version, which is like the black and white version, and it was class.
I mean, it's a good film, I suppose. It's just that I just thought it was kind of like overly depressing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just didn't do it for me. Maybe I'm a 10-year-old at heart, and I just need spectacle all the time. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I can see where you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
But the second Ryan Reynolds made that video when he's like, "Hey Hugh, do you want to come back and do Wolverine?" He goes, "Yeah, I suppose." I was like,
Yeah.
"Everything is good in the world. I am ready for this. Hell yeah!" And then to bring it, the trailer came out like 3 days ago. Oh my god, so much.
With the Super Bowl of all things.
It was the Super Bowl, yes. Oh, just so many things. I'm trying to think back of it now in my head, just reflecting on all the different things that happened in that movie.
The thing that caught my eye, and the thing I'm going to bring up right now, spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer, go watch it now. Pyro from X-Men 2 has returned.
I saw that.
He's in the trailer.
Thankfully, the internet pointed out who that was for me, because I didn't realise that was the actor, because it's been, 20 years?
So I was saying this, I didn't recognize him. It was the internet that reminded me who he was. I just saw the guy, and then it was like, oh, he looked familiar. Don't know why. Moved on.
Yeah, I didn't even have that. I was just kind of like, yeah. I saw him, I'm like, oh, he looks cool. And then Twitter's like, it's Pyro. I'm like, oh shit, that's really cool.
That's the thing. I love the comics, and the costume looked familiar as well. I was like, the guy looks familiar, that costume looks familiar. No idea who that is.
There's something about it. I think, I don't know why this is the one thing that's, I love just like random little thing that stuck out of me. But there's a scene in the trailer where you can see what clearly is the back of Wolverine's head.
Yeah.
In like a casino or something.
In the casino, yeah.
Yeah. I am 90% certain that is not Hugh Jackman.
Right. I've heard there's a fan theory about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a fan. My theory is it's someone else playing a Wolverine variant.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole Patch fan theory. I don't know about that. I don't know where that came from. All I know is I am very sure that is not Hugh Jackman, because it is an interesting way to promote the movie, introduce it as it's being called Deadpool and Wolverine, and yet have very, 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 very little Wolverine in your trailer. Though the director
hide him almost completely.
Exactly, and the director has gone ahead and said it is very much a two-person movie compared to Deadpool 1 and 2. It's very much Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, but there's no Wolverine in the trailer, so it's like, what's gonna happen?
I'm very excited. Like, I'm more excited than I was, because I was nervous. So I have mixed feelings with those Deadpool films.
Really?
I really like them. I'm not a big Ryan Reynolds fan, but I think he's perfect as Deadpool.
Podcast ends now.
What?
I said podcast ends now.
Yeah.
They're gonna fight.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds, I'm so mixed with. Like, a lot of his films just don't grab me. But I think he's the perfect Deadpool. Like, he's one of those ones that you just can't. I can't think of who else could play Deadpool apart from Ryan Reynolds. I think he's perfect for it.
There's no.
But the guy that's directing this one, I can't remember his name, but he directed Free Guy and The Adam Project, and I was not a fan of either of those films.
I really enjoyed both of those films.
Yeah.
How can you like The Adam Project? The Adam Project.
I don't hate them as much as other people do. I just didn't really vibe with them as much.
I love both of those movies a great deal.
So, I mean, the thing is, everything I've seen in this trailer already looks great, though, so...
For anyone interested...
it shows what I know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm way more hyped than I was before.
Hey. Oh, Jesus, I've done a thing. I apologise. I fixed the thing.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. I'm basically doing research. I'm going to be the research guy as we're doing this. For anyone interested, the director of Deadpool and Wolverine is called Sean Levy.
On Levy, that's the one, because I won't lie to you, there are people in my work who despise him. They do not like his filmography at all, and I hear this a lot. I don't despise the man. I'm not against the films he's made. I'm just not a big fan of them. That doesn't mean I don't want to see them.
That's fair. Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to this new Deadpool Wolverine film.
To be honest, I will give you that. I'm looking through his work, and it's like he was an executive producer on Stranger Things, but that doesn't mean diddly squat. An executive producer can just be someone who put money into it. Shadow and Bone, he was an executive producer on that as well, which I believe is a really good show. From what I've heard.
I've never seen it myself, but I heard good things.
Me neither. However,
I don't know if it got cancelled, but
nah, me neither. But he was a producer on Night at the Museum, Camera Rises Again.
All right.
So that could be good or bad, depending on your opinion of that. He was an executive producer on Cheaper by the Dozen, which is a big movie growing up.
Yeah.
Dude's done a lot of
Yeah, he's got a big career.
But the thing is,
He'll do way more things than I'll ever do in my life. So I'm never gonna come at him and be like he's terrible and awful and he doesn't deserve anything.
oh, he was a picture I saw in every night in the museum. I mean, he's done some actually pretty good stuff. I was going to go the general consensus looking at this is that it's meh, is the general consensus, but there are some actually really good movies there. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah. I mean, they've grabbed me already because I think my biggest fear was the action in the other two. Because I love the director who did Deadpool 2 because he also did the first John Wick film. And he's done like Atomic Blonde and stuff. I think I'm getting the right one because there's two directors in that first John Wick. And I always forget which one's which. But I know one of them did Deadpool 2. And I love the action in Deadpool 2.
Deadpool's action in general has always been top notch.
I wasn't a fan of the story in Deadpool 2 as much, but I thought the comedy, like, it made me laugh super hard, and I thought the action was great.
I'll give you that. The story in Deadpool 2 was a bit underwhelming.
I'm also not going into a Deadpool film expecting a hardcore story, so that's why I don't think I have a big I know that some people have a big problem with Deadpool 2. It doesn't bother me.
Nah.
Like, I'm not going into Deadpool 2 with, like, an Avengers Endgame.
True.
It's
a very
story.
Different level of hype, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Avengers stuff, you like the spectacle, it's the huge. Whereas Deadpool, he's like, I'm here for stupid jokes, 4-4 breaking, and some fun combat. I'm not really here for the story.
I went to see Deadpool 1 on Valentine's Day when that came out.
Oh yeah, because it came out on Valentine's Day. I think I saw it on Valentine's Day, probably by myself, or I may have had a girlfriend at the time. I can't remember.
Yeah. They released like fake posters and stuff at the time. Like the promotion for the first film I thought was great.
It was really good. I have done more research. Director you're on about is David Leitch or David Leitch.
The one.
And I can totally understand why you like him because he was the director on Bullet Train, which is
I love Bullet Train.
A phenomenal movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson in that is they Lemon and Tangerine need their own series or movie or something because oh my 100%. God, that was the funniest thing I've seen in ages.
It was so good.
And he also did John Wick, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, which is a movie lots of people hate. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it.
I don't like Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I don't care for it at all. However,
I keep getting told I need to watch it.
Nah, I'm good.
I've seen 1 and 4.
Yeah, I think I've seen like one of them, but I watched Hobbs and Shaw because it's not a Fast and Furious movie. Yeah. It's a like espionage spy movie with Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, and Idris Elba. So I was like, I'll watch it, and I really enjoyed it. And do you know who else is in Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw?
No idea.
I will tell you. Vanessa Kirby, who has just been cast as the Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four.
I know. What a way to reveal that as well.
I genuinely almost totally missed it.
I almost. You know what's funny is I just shared it because I thought it was a fun little fan poster. I didn't realize I was sharing it from what's his name? Joseph Quinn? Is that his name?
Yeah, Joseph Quinn. Yeah. So I saw it on your Instagram story.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I looked at it and I was like, Joseph Quinn. I'm like, oh, has he been cast in it? And I was like, is this just his way of saying, oh, I might be in this? Because I wasn't really like looking at the faces. And I looked, I was like, oh, well, that's Pedro Pascal.
I just thought it was a nice little bit of art. And then I zoomed in and I saw it was Joseph Quinn. And then I realized I was on Joseph Quinn's Instagram.
At the moment, I was like, that's Pedro Pascal. And I'm like, is that meant to be Joseph Quinn? I think I recognize this woman as well. I'm like, is this an official announcement? And I saw at the bottom where it says Marvel Studios, The Fantastic Four. And I was like, wait, is this genuine? So in case you have to like, okay, well, his tag is just fantastic or something like that. He just put like one word. So I went over to Pedro Pascal's page and he didn't share it. So I'm like, okay, now I'm confused. So I was just having to like go around to all these different pages and then everyone was sharing like the official Marvel Studios one. And I'm like, oh my God, what an announcement. Crazy.
I believe Pedro Pascal shared it now and he had like the caption from my family to yours or something.
Yes.
And I just thought it was adorable.
That is really good. But if we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four, we need to talk about opinions on this casting because I have heard things. I agree with some things. I disagree with a lot of things.
Which is interesting.
What is your take on?
What was I can't remember the name of the actress who is Mrs. Fantastic or
Vanessa Kirby.
I don't know much that I've seen her in. So I have no real opinion of her yet. I imagine she'll be great. I will say that even on bad or quote unquote bad Marvel films, I still feel like the cast usually is good, even if the film itself doesn't grab me. I
Yeah.
think the only time where I've had an issue with casting ever, and I really hope I don't meet this actor now, the guy who plays Shang-Chi,
What?
I was
Really?
not a big fan.
I love his performance in that movie.
It's the only thing that I think remotely could be controversial that I say, where I'm just like, yeah, I just didn't grab me. I actually thought that his sister, I thought she was great, and I know that there was a whole debate in our work where a guy really liked him but hated her, whereas I was the opposite. I really liked her, wasn't a big fan of him. But then I've done this before, where I've said this in the past, where I remember when the first Doctor Strange film came out,
Yeah.
and I remember being like, Benedict Cumberbatch, that's not the way to go. Then Avengers Infinity War came out, and I remember coming out of it being like, wow, Doctor Strange is my favorite character. So it could just be the film, and he could easily, in the next Avengers film, win me over. It's
That's
very easy to do. I'm very easy to manipulate.
you're just so open. You don't get an opinion and like stick to it, which is a problem.
No, yeah, I'm very, you get a second chance. I'm a very open man when it comes to chances, especially with movies.
There you go. It's like I feel like I'm saying this a lot, which is this is the problem with society today. But it's
Yeah,
people do get this opinion. Like if they don't like a thing, they like hold on to it so tightly and they're like, no, I
yeah,
do not like it, no matter what they do. Oh, I hate it. It's like no. Some people make bad work. Granted, your opinion is wrong in this matter. Simu Lee is fantastic in Shang-Chi. uh, but you aren't so held on to your opinion of it. It's like
yeah,
you don't think it was great in the moment, but you are open to the idea of him in future movies winning you over. But
yeah.
back to Vanessa Kirby.
Yes, sorry, yes, that's what I forgot where we got there. Yeah, so I don't know her filmography that well. I'd have to look her up.
I've only seen her in the one film, and that was Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy her in that.
Is she not? Is she not in a Mission Impossible? I don't know.
She is in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
So I will have seen her on there.
She plays a character
I
called
imagine
the White
I
Widow.
think she's going to hit it out of the park. If it's anything like that, I'm sure she'll be great.
Oh, I just got a ping. Someone's
yeah.
following us. Thank you very much
Oh,
for the follow.
superb!
Frimpong
Frimpong.
2K12.
What a name! Superb. Thank you for the follow.
Snap touch wood. But no, I was just looking at it. It's very interesting. Vanessa Kirby's character in Mission Impossible is called the White Widow.
Oh, there you go. It all comes. Everyone comes to Marvel eventually. Before I actually dive into this, I'm going to ask you: what's your opinion been of how Marvel have been for the last little while? Like since Endgame, have you been enjoying Marvel?
First off, thank you, Remy, for the follow. Okay, so yeah. Since Endgame, I really enjoyed Shang-Chi.
Yep.
I enjoy Multiverse of Madness, but I think it was far too overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what ruined it, is that the lead up to it was like, this is going to change everything. The multiverse is everywhere. We have so many characters. And it's like, you don't. It's an enjoyable movie, but it was so overhyped, and therefore that's why everyone hates it. But everyone won't admit that's why they hate it. They go, oh no, it's just really bad because, oh, this was cheesy. Oh, they just threw this in there. It's like, no, it's actually really cool. Granted, the Illuminati was done kind of weird, but the fact that they were in there is still really cool. So I enjoyed that movie. I've watched it, I think, 3 times. Thank you for the follow, Super Crash TV. Go Fiction. Hi, Mondo. How you doing? I really don't know how I got that name then. Hey, and he's following too. Guys, I'm trying to talk here. I'm messing. I love you guys. Please, if you want to follow, please continue to follow. What was I saying? That was it. You asked me my opinion on.
You watched Multiverse of Madness, and then what was after that? Was it Ant-Man?
I don't know if I'm going in order here.
I don't know.
I don't know if this movie came before or after Endgame, but I watched Eternals.
All right, of course, I forgot about Eternals. Sean.
I watched it once, and I was like, that was okay.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again with my parents, and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that says about that movie. The cast was. I really enjoyed the cast.
What was his name?
I'm trying to figure out what Remy just said. I have no idea what ISTG crash means. Does that mean the stream crashed?
I'm 31. I don't get your young lingos.
The cast was okay, but I couldn't get into Eternals. I agree. Also, hello,
Yes.
how are you? Super Crash smells, ignored me, he's stinky. I'm guessing that's someone you know, but fair enough. I really liked Multiverse of Madness, but that's probably because I saw it in 4D and fell for the gimmick. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I actually think I would probably have enjoyed it more in 4D.
Exactly, yeah. It has that bit of spectacle to it.
Yeah,
Well,
I went to see Aquaman in 4DX, and that was the best experience I had.
The first one? Or have you seen
The
the
first
second
one,
Okay.
yeah. I haven't seen the second one.
Me neither. What was I going to say? So yeah,
So, yeah, so you got
Eternals,
Eternals.
I fell asleep on my second viewing, and then reflecting on it, it's like, there's just, like a lot of people said, it should have been a series.
Yeah.
There's so much they tried to get in that, and it just didn't deliver. But it's annoying because I really enjoyed Kit Harington's character, and I hope he returns. Was it like the Black Knight or something like that? I don't really know. Hope you guys are good. It's Joe, by the way. Used to work with Stephen.
Used to? Joe, if that's who I think it is, what do you mean used to work? Do you not work with us anymore? Am I not going to see you in work, like, tomorrow?
Stephen, just to let you know, Joe handed in his resignation today. Thank you immediately. So yeah, Eternals had a lot of potential, didn't really work.
Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder is garbage.
Oh, I swear to God. Sorry, Rem just explained what ISTG means.
Oh, I swear to God, there we go.
You kids and your lingo.
We're all... yeah, Love and Thunder was garbage.
Yes.
Which is a shame.
I really wanted to like that film.
I really wanted to like it. And like, they waste... Christian Bale is amazing. His performance is superb. Not to steal from you, sorry. But it's just wasted. And so much of that movie... It's like, I love Taika Waititi and his movies, but it was terrible. It was just too... It wasn't even funny. That's the thing. I want to say it was too funny, but it wasn't funny. It was just stupid, and it was So that put a sour taste in my mouth. I don't know why I haven't watched Love and Thunder yet. You're not missing out, honestly.
I mean, I genuinely... I mean, I don't know if I've never watched it. So I went to see it at the cinema, and I have not watched it since. I might enjoy it more streaming because I can pause it or stop it. I actually think I would enjoy it more at home where I could be comfortable.
That's it. Yeah, if you're more enjoying it, you can just like, oh, I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna take a minute and do it. But when you're sat there and you got nothing but this in front of you, you're like, that's a bit.
Yeah, like Joe makes a good point there where they're talking about like because Gore the God Butcherer kills one god in that film
and then kills about 17 off screen.
Yeah, and it just talks non-stop about how they're going to be like a good god killer, but like just the comic Gore is fantastic. Like if you ever get the chance to read Jason Aaron's Thor run, absolutely do it. It's great. 10 out of 10. I don't really like Thor in the comics, but that whole run is great.
I need to read more comic books in general, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I've got some recommendations. You get.
I'm sure you do. Ant-Man Quantumania. I saw that in cinema, and I kind of have like a 50-50 opinion of it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it only because I didn't pay money to see it. My boss, who I was helping out at the time in Brighton, he like paid for us to go to the cinema, so I was like, all right, cool. But other than that, I was not a big fan. Then I wasn't a big fan of the other two Ant-Man films, so it wasn't like this film. I would be really surprised if this film could win me over.
That's fair. I enjoyed the first two Ant-Man. I really enjoyed Ant-Man 1, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is fun. Not as good as the first one. And the third one, it's like, there's so... I love Kang. I think he was defeated far too simply.
I think it was a mistake having Kang be beaten in an Ant-Man film.
Yeah, it's like, I was hoping it'd just be a case of they just like narrowly escape. But it's like, I have ants, motherfucker, and it's like...
Yeah, it's very hard to take, especially because you're right. He gets at one point beaten by giant ants.
Yeah, you're like
or
this
normal-sized ants.
This is the new Thanos of the next series, and he's.
I can't imagine what I would have done if I saw Thanos be beaten by like, the equivalent of ants.
Yeah. I also don't like what they did with MODOK.
Yeah,
Darren and
there's an element that Marvel has where they want to do jokes, but sometimes it goes too far.
Yeah,
and I feel like a lot of times it goes too far.
They commit to the bit a bit too heavy.
Yeah, And which is like, I get it if you're trying to appeal to some form of audience. I don't know when it started, but there is a point where somehow the jokes became like the norm in Marvel films, where they were more just like add-ons.
After
Like
Endgame.
some films were just funny. They weren't comedies.
Yeah. I definitely think it's post Endgame.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to make besides Multiverse of Madness, I feel like they're trying to make every Marvel movie a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's like, please stop. However, okay, I'm going to quickly speed run the rest of them, because I feel like I spent a lot of time talking to them. The Marvels, enjoyed. I'd give it 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Overall. I can't believe I missed it, but Spider-Man No Way Home, phenomenal movie, 10 out of 10. We'll watch
love
it every single day of my life.
I'm right there with you. It's what I loved.
Superb film. I don't know if I forgot any other MCU movies that have come out since.
No, I think that's the gist of it. I think you got all them. I mean, there's TV shows as well. I mean, I think overall, Marvel just should have taken a break
Yeah.
after Endgame, give us a bit more time to get over it.
Yeah.
And I've been very vocal about that with friends, where it's like, I just, even if it was just like 2 years, just like give me some time with no Marvel.
Yeah.
After.
That's what they should have done. I feel like they went the complete opposite direction, which is, okay, now we're going to throw 17 different things at you. You're like,
yeah.
Give me a
breather. I think part of the problem is they really wanted another plan, even though like they always had a plan for Thanos in a way. Yeah. But I don't think they ever knew it was going to be Infinity War and Endgame. You know what I mean? Like I think they had a rough idea of, we're going to adapt the Infinity Gauntlet at some point. We'll get there. But I don't think they knew exactly how it was going to go. And then I feel like with Kang, they've really been trying to make a plan for it. Like, I feel like they've tried a roadmap of, like, right, he's going to be like this in this film, and then he's going to appear in this, in the Loki TV show, and then he's going to be here. And I just think they should have not planned that far ahead.
Yeah, they should have just put little snippets. But this is also a problem I found with Marvel movies since Endgame, is that there's, in every, like, post-credit scene, there's constant, oh, by the way, Guardians 3, great film.
Yeah. Of course.
There are, like, so many post-credit scenes where they, like, hint at things. And then it's been years, and you're like, what happened to this thing? It's like Shang-Chi's rings. They're like giving off the signal into space. Still no idea where that's coming from, what that's doing. Someone said that it's been like, 4 years since we've seen the new Captain America do anything? What's he doing?
Yeah.
No idea. The Eternals. No, not the Eternal. The Celestial sticking out of the Earth. No mention of that ever. Harrington's garage run Eternals. No mention of him anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Spider-Man movies. I did like the little Venom bit at the end of Spider-Man, and I'm assuming we'll hit.
Yeah, that's a good way to use that little cameo character. I thought it was good.
I'm sure they might deliver something on that from like the Venom 3 perspective.
Yeah.
Possibly, or the next Spider-Man. I'm trying to think what else has been hinted at with no delivery. Like, what was the post-credits scenes of Doctor Strange? Like, Doctor Strange and his whole eye thing. What? Yeah.
That was, don't even get me started. I have so many problems going on there.
It's like, we've wasted all our CGI budget throughout the movie. Okay, well, we've got this one more shot. Can you just, like, try and get it?
See, the eyeball ending, I really like.
Oh, really?
I like the eyeball ending. It's the ending after that. It's the post ending that annoys me, where they're just like, oh, we forgot it's a Marvel film. We have to set up the next one. Have this random character. Okay, here we go. And you're like jumping into portals or whatever. And all of a sudden he's fine with the eye. It's a whole thing.
Oh yeah, because that was the ending scene when he had the eye, and then it's the random.
So there's the scene where he's screaming, and the eye pops up, and it's like, whoa, what a way to end a film, Jesus.
That
and then right after that,
it's like, because they don't even say how much time skip. It's just like, oh, I'm this person. We need to go save the multiverse, and he's like, okay, you know.
So I'm just seeing from the comment from Joe that he hasn't worked with me for years, so I just figured out what Joe this is. It's not the Joe I work with now. Hello, Joe.
That makes sense. Love and Thunder was meh. Goal was great. 100% Kang job too hard. I'm assuming that's Scottish slang for was beat. Spider-Man No Way Home, Love Heart, of course, phenomenal movie. 100%. The Avengers were on annual leave during Eternals. Evidently, everyone is just taking a break recently because there's no bloody mention of anybody.
It's the stuff that, like, I understand not every Marvel film talked about what happened in every Marvel film.
True.
But when you find out in Eternals that the planet just had, like, an egg inside of its core or whatever, and then, like, it was about to be born, and now it's just kind of trapped in the Earth, and nobody brings it up. Like, no one talks about it. And you're just like, guys, there's just like a random continent where there's this like alien being kind of poking out, and we're just okay with it.
Yeah, it's like world-altering things, like the snap and the blip. They're always mentioned because that was a world-altering thing that affects everybody.
Yeah.
So of course everyone's
Yeah.
gonna mention it. And then it's like the little things that happen in other movies nobody mentions because, you know, this is a singular independent event, blah, blah, blah. But like you said, it turns it's a world-affecting thing. Why is no one talking about it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like mentioned on a TV show, on the TV in one of the shows or something?
I think She-Hulk or something might have brought it up in the background.
Yeah, give that a
But
minute,
like,
right?
it's a whole thing. The reason I'm asking you about the Marvel question is because I am of the opinion that their whole thing should have been building up to Fantastic Four and X-Men, because that was the rights they were about to get back.
True.
And we knew this. We knew after they bought Fox, we knew they were going to get those characters. So in my head, it shouldn't have been so much building up to Kang as it should have been, let's get ready to get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men here.
True. That is
And they have been teasing mutants for a while in like Miss Marvel and stuff, but it's not been in a way that I've really enjoyed because they've just kind of been playing with nostalgia.
yeah.
Every time they've talked about mutants, you'll hear like the 90s X-Men. Yeah,
How much do you know about the Marvels? Do you know
I
anything?
know.
about
I
them?
know the post-credit scene.
That's a good one. I forgot when I was watching. I forgot that post-credit scene existed, and then it happened, and I was like, "Holy shit! I forgot. This is actually really cool."
So I mean, that's the other thing I have a problem with though, is that even though they keep building towards this X-Men, it all seems to be X-Men of the past. Like, you know, even with Deadpool 3, we're getting Hugh Jackman, we're getting Pyro back.
True.
And then all of a sudden, you know,
Because was
I don't want to
Kelsey?
spoil the post-credit scene, but you see a character who we have seen and an actor that has played him before.
I almost immediately spoiled that. I was about to say,
I mean,
yeah, because it
I don't
was.
know if we can. I think that's up to us. If we want to, we can. But like,
I mean, if you
know.
haven't seen it online yet,
yeah, I mean,
kudos
how
to
into
you.
the film are you if you're
Yeah.
not already trying to watch it?
but you make a very good point because it is one of those things where I was like, "Oh, who's going to play?" It's just like with the Fantastic Four, like they've got a whole new cast,
Yeah,
and that's good. But then some
Yeah.
people still want the old cast because let's be honest, I fucking love the original Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I have
Yeah, the
no
first ones,
problem
yeah.
with those movies. I love those movies so much. I love that cast so much.
yeah,
Amazing. However, I'm accepted the fact that it is fucking 15, 20 years ago.
yeah. You
When
know,
they did it,
it
and they're
ages
probably-
like everything else does. But like, I'm glad that we're finally getting the Fantastic Four because for me, I feel like that was what I was wanting for a while.
True.
And to answer your other question before, so I'm like, the guy who is playing the Thing, I know he's been in The Bear. I've never watched The Bear. I'm sure he's been in other stuff, but
He
like, I'm
was
looking
in
forward to
Punisher.
him. Was he in Punisher?
yeah.
Oh my god, he is in Punisher! Oh my god, you're absolutely right. I loved him in Punisher.
There you go.
Ah, I loved him. You're right. That's why he looks familiar to me. So, yes, so I loved him in Punisher. So I can't imagine why I wouldn't love him as the Thing.
There you go.
I thought Joseph Quinn was great in Stranger Things, so I can't see why he would make a bad Johnny Storm. People seem to be having a problem with that.
I've noticed
He's
that.
very divisive right now, and I don't know why.
Because I was trying to think about this. When I was thinking about it, I'm like, everyone seems like, oh, Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm. That's weird. I'm like, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming a lot of people, like me, only know Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And therefore, simple-minded people think, oh, that's how he plays every character. And it's like, the
Yeah.
dude is an actor.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he can act differently.
Yeah,
So-
at the very least, I'd hope he'd be able to act a little different.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like people are expecting... What was his character called?
Eddie.
Eddie. I feel like everyone's expecting, oh, Johnny Storm's just going to be Eddie. And it's like, no, imagine he's going to play it as Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
So that's my
Eddie
problem.
was an outcast. Johnny's more of like almost like, well, in my version, he's more like a jock.
Yeah,
but
he's like
not really a
he's
jock.
like a
He's very
playboy
full of
jock.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I think he was, because from what I've seen of the actual person himself, he doesn't seem like he's like Eddie. So that's clearly acting ability. So I'm assuming he can act in other ways. Okay, this is not a gripe, but my only opinion that isn't incredibly optimistic about the Fantastic Four is Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I'm hearing this a lot as well.
But not because everyone's like, oh, it just doesn't match. It's like, I have no problem with him visually.
Yeah.
My thing is, he's so lately been cast as the gruff, reluctant father figure who is like just moody and serious all the time. And granted, I have seen him in The Unbearable Weight of Amazing Talent or wherever it was called, which if you have not watched is
I love that.
hilarious
Blu-ray
film.
somewhere. I love it that much.
It's a great film. But so I'm just worried because that's why I think because he's been Mando and Joel and these kind of characters lately, I feel like people are worried that's he's going to be his approach to Reed, which does not fit at all. So I'm just thinking he's going to really have to act to be able to pull off a good Reed Richards. That's my only concern. I don't think it was bad casting. I just think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm very interested because I don't know where, because it's not just you. There was people on Twitter and they all seem to have taken a turn on Pedro, and I was like, wow, I thought he was like him. I thought he was top dog for a lot. I thought he was like the most obvious casting. I'm not like for or against it. I haven't really decided yet because I don't know how I want my Reed to be. Fair. I only remember like the Fox ones that you were talking about, and I loved him in that.
He was so good.
I haven't. I mean, I guess it's a role I haven't got to see Pedro in, where he gets to be like the smart guy.
Yeah, that's
like
what I mean.
The genius.
It's
smartest man in the world, or whatever he's meant to be.
Yeah, it's a different kind of character to what we're all used to seeing Pedro playing, which is why I think people are a bit skeptical. It's why I'm a bit nervous, but I'm looking forward to what he brings to the role. And another thing, this is a visual thing, and I don't usually like to be that guy that's like, oh, they don't look like the character. But I know, it seems, I don't know if they're going to do the clean-shaven Reed, but the general vibe lately seems to be, oh, it's Reed with a beard.
Yeah.
My only issue is when Pedro grows facial hair, it's very clearly a mustache and then some beard on the bottom. So it's like that picture they posted on Valentine's Day, or yesterday.
Yeah.
You can barely see the beard part. So it just looks like Reed has a mustache. And you're like, that is weird. I can't get behind mustache Reed. What's Joe saying? I want to give him... I think this is about Joe. Joe talking about Joe. I want to give him a chance. He's a good actor. Pedro has a real point of discussion. Very true. People saying what we're saying. We bit sad about John Krasinski. He wasn't Mr. Fantastic. He seemed like a good fit, but Pedro is a solid choice who I'm eager to see. I don't know about John Krasinski. He's a great actor. I don't think Multiverse of Madness is a good representation of what he could have brought to the character because the script didn't really do him justice. He could have been great. We won't know. Or we might, because they're obsessed with multiverse, so we might have two Fantastic Four families. Who knows?
I mean, that's like I think what puts me off with the John Krasinski thing is I don't feel like I got to see him perform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he clearly looks like he was in a different room from everyone else, just like filming a scene that he didn't really know what was going on. Like, because he was so like secret. I remember like they made a joke with the girl who played Wanda, and they were like, oh, like, they were trying to trick her to be like, oh, is this guy in the film? And she was like, I don't know who that is. And they're like, oh, you've worked with him. And again, it could all have been a joke, but she was like, nope, no idea who that is. And it's like, yep, that tells me he was in a completely different room from you. You had no idea. You were working with like a guy on a stick, probably. He was just telling you, look here, generally. And we'll CGI him in later. So I didn't really feel like I got to see him actually act as Mr. Fantastic.
I will give you that. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just waste potential. But I tell you what, I hated that version of Captain Marvel. The 818 version of Captain Marvel. Hey, Squid, how you doing? This is my old friend that I was telling you about. This is Remy's boyfriend.
Oh, superb.
Yeah, that's why it's
Hello.
like some pretty lady just told me there's a pair of nerds spouting nonsense on the internet. Isn't there always a pair of geeky people talking about geeky shit on the internet?
I mean, we are just a couple of white men having a podcast.
Because that's a new and original idea.
People, you know what? There weren't enough geeky podcasts out there, and we thought we need to add more to it.
Exactly. And who wouldn't want to be here instead of any of these other high-budget, well-edited...
We've got our screens. I've got my microphone.
Boom!
I've got my bottle of water next to me.
We both have Snowball mics. They're somewhat decent. I've run out of coffee, but I was. We have light, we have video, we have sound. What more could you need?
Yeah.
Love a White Man podcast. Awesome. Thank you for the follow.
Is that our
That's
new
Joe.
podcast name?
The White Man Podcast.
The White Man Podcast.
I don't know if that would go down well. The internet is saturated with too much culture. Thank you for the follow, Squid. I'm really confused. Did you like unfollow me? Because I'm sure you were already following this channel. Or did I lose followers when I changed the name? Anyway,
Maybe.
I appreciate it anyway.
New channel.
I like the jingle. I was going to say a thing. What were we on about? We've on about so many things. It's
Yes,
great.
anyway, we're jumping around conversations, but it's Fantastic Four I'm looking forward to.
Same.
I think the cast is going to be pretty good. I'm mixed on the idea, because I remember they threw it out there in Doctor Strange 2, where when they talked about the Fantastic Four, he said, like, oh, didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
Yeah, so we're going to make
see the new poster, and it looks very, like, 60s-esque, and it looks very like it's going to... I don't know if it's going to take place
in the 60s.
or just start there.
See, that'd be really weird to do if you're introducing a new family to the MCU. Oh, yeah, they were based in the 60s. And like, okay, well, if they were based in the 60s, how have we never seen or heard of them?
I mean, I would assume they would have it be that the space anomaly that they go into, if that's the origin they're going with, that maybe that just displaced time.
Maybe.
But then, are we really going to have another fish out of water? Oh no, we're all from a different time. How? A mobile phone? What's that? Like, do I need another one of them?
That is, yeah.
Hey, if it works, it works. They love the formula.
Yeah, if there's one thing Marvel likes, it's a formula.
Yeah. So, like, it might work. Depending if that's what they do, because they are going to have to make an excuse as to why they weren't around with Thanos or whatever.
Popped up, yeah. That was it. Because I don't know if this was talked about in Echo. Have you watched Echo?
Yes.
I have not watched Echo, but
I've seen the first half.
Is there? Oh, okay, well you might not know this then. Is there mention? Yeah. Is there a mention of Fisk buying Avengers Tower?
I don't believe so.
Cool, because I think there's still speculation going around about who actually bought Avengers Tower. Is it going to be the Baxter Building? Is it going to be Fisk Tower? Is it going to be Oscorp? Yeah. So yeah.
I think it'd be nice if it's the Baxter Building. I think that's the next best thing to do with it.
Yeah, because that A can very easily be turned into a 4.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
they've set it up for themselves.
And it already has a little bay that you can shoot the little Fantastic Flying 4 car out of, or whatever it was. So I'm just saying, it just works. It doesn't mean you have to invent a new skyscraper in New York.
Yeah.
I was going to say a thing for what it was. I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see if they do Doctor Doom and how they do Doctor Doom, or if they don't do Doctor Doom. If they do Fing Fang Foom, that'd be pretty interesting. They seem to be doing it for big CGI monsters lately. So
I don't know if they can use his name anymore. I don't think they can even use him in the comics.
What, Fing Fang Foom?
Yeah, I don't know if there's some racial connotations.
I was about to say don't want to ask why, and I was worried you were going to say racism.
I don't know. I don't want to. I feel like I don't see Fing Fang Foom anymore.
That's fair. To be honest, I only ever saw him in Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, I think I saw him in that and the Lego games.
Which is an amazing game. I loved Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Never finished it. Could never beat it, but I enjoyed it. Because I remember Fing Fang Foom was like the first boss in that game.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking... Because in my mind, I was like, right, we'll do this podcast for an hour and a half. Because I feel like that's an average amount of time. I think we're going to go over because this is just too easy to talk about.
Yeah, it's so easy just to have a conversation
for a long time. But I think there's a couple of things I was wanting to make sure I get in. So I'll just confirm my list.
It's all right. We've at least said we both are looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Hey, but here's the great thing: even if we don't cover everything on the list, the next time we get the chance to do it, we'll have the same list plus more stuff. So it's not like we're gonna run out of things to talk about.
Exactly.
Plus, geek stuff is so huge. Like we haven't even touched on the fact that we both cosplay, and we could waffle on about that for forever.
Yeah.
But no, here's what I wanted to mention, and I don't know if this is your thing at all, but I was very excited about this morning when someone told me, but there was a new trailer for Godzilla X Kong that came out this morning.
Man, I am too excited for that. I love the Godzilla. And I don't mean just the new Godzilla films. I love all the Godzilla films. I am a huge Godzilla fan.
I love Godzilla.
And the MonsterVerse ones in particular. Perfect. Superb. Superb.
I will admit, I've not watched the first one.
First one, see, now here's the thing.
Because Godzilla's
when I
not
first
fucking
saw
in
the first one, I thought it was amazing. Now, it's probably my least favorite.
That's fair because Godzilla's not in it, and when he is in it, it's so dark that you have to proper squint to see him. So I've seen.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah, I've seen all
Just
the
'cause it's
bits
so dark.
of Godzilla from the first Godzilla. Like I've watched it all on YouTube, but King of the Monsters, I love.
The Monsters is my favorite one.
Kong Skull Island, I think that movie is incredible.
100%.
Godzilla versus Kong, I love that film. It's like my inner
I remember
child.
I was iffy with it.
Really?
So it's because it came out during lockdown.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't go to the cinema to see it at the time. So I had to wait for it to come in like VOD. And I just wasn't the same. I wasn't feeling it at that point. But I actually just recently rewatched it because it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's such a good film.
And I've got it on Blu-ray now as well, so it's good.
This is my only qualm with the MonsterVerse is they're not too bad for it, but I feel like it suffers a bit from Michael Bay Transformers.
Yeah.
I don't care about the humans. I don't think they're as bad as the original Transformers movies, which I love. I love Transformers. I love all those films.
Yeah.
Except the last one. I don't... Well, no. The last one, like the new one that just came out. Fucking love that. Rise of Beast. I love that movie.
Oh, okay. So right now, you might have just sold me a ticket because everyone else I've talked to doesn't really like that film, and I haven't watched it yet. But you telling me you like it gives me a bit of hope.
I really enjoyed it. But no, I'll get back to that in a second. So, out of the Michael Bay movies, I love them all except The Last Night. That just sucked.
Yeah.
I overall love them, but they all suffer from too much humans. I don't want to go to a Transformers movie to watch humans. I want to go to a Transformers movie to watch Transformers. And it's the same with Godzilla. Granted, I think they do it better than Transformers. They blend the two a lot better, and the cast are just a lot more interesting. Actually, that's a lie. That scientist, fuck that woman. She was painful every time I saw her on screen. And the fact that they killed Ken Watanabe is also an insult, but
yeah.
whatever. But I just love it. I love the inclusion. They focus on the monsters a good deal. The monsters look incredible, and the fight scenes are of a good length, a good quality, and they're in daylight. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
And this new trailer, because I imagine from the sounds of it, I'm not as big of a Godzilla fan as you are. I do love Godzilla. I've watched a lot of Godzilla animes.
Yeah.
And I really like the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, which I know is not the real Godzilla, but I enjoyed it as a monster movie. Nice to see you, Twiggy. He still doesn't know how to shush and say goodbye. From Squid. Pleasure to talk to you both. Hopefully you join us every other time we do this, which may or may not be a every other week thing because, work schedules. What was I saying? Yes, I love Godzilla, maybe not as much as you, but I was talking to someone at work who was like a massive Godzilla fan, and he was telling me about the trailer, and he was like, oh yeah, it's first hints of, was it Shifu?
Shimu, yeah.
Shimu, not Shifu, sorry. I think Shifu was like Kung Fu Panda or something. Shimu, and I was like, what is this? So I've Googled it, I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. And I'm like, I love the more that you get into Godzilla, the more lore you uncover, and you're like, there is so much potential, and it just looks awesome. Though I did see a very funny comment on the trailer, which was... Kong has got the Infinity Gauntlet, and Godzilla has achieved Super Saiyan Rosé. This is going to be great.
I'm so excited for that. It just looks so good. Like, and it's exactly what I want. I want a stupid film where they fight each other. Because have you seen Godzilla -1?
No, but I've heard
Check
so much
that
good
movie
stuff.
out. But it's so different. Like, it's so
it's
good.
It's a monster movie.
You will. Yeah. Like, you will care about the humans in that film.
Okay.
Like that I've actually I cried in that film. And like again, gun to my head if you were like, you're gonna cry at a Godzilla film and it has nothing to do with the lizard.
But that's the thing, it's like if you're gonna make a Godzilla movie when Godzilla is the antagonist, then I'll probably care about the humans. But when you're making a Godzilla film and Godzilla is the hero character, I don't care about the humans. And neither does Godzilla, because Godzilla is here to protect the planet, not the people.
Yeah. So I mean it really depends for me because I didn't really like the characters in Godzilla vs. Kong, but I really liked Tom Hiddleston in Kong Skull Island.
Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I thought they were great.
Other guy, that whole cast was great. That was my only problem. Is like, this cast is great, but they're based 40 years before the modern story, so none of them can come back.
Well, I think it was perfect for them to be like, oh, I can do this one-off film and then bounce.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Because I don't think they want it to be... The thing is, because they keep changing the cast as well. Because in the next film, I think it's the main woman and the little girl from Godzilla vs. Kong are back.
True. The black guy who was in Eternals and Bullet Train. I can't remember.
And there's like a new guy that's taken over one of the Skarsgård's role.
Yeah.
and it's
Is
just
it
they
is
keep
it the same
changing them,
character?
and you have to keep making up excuses of like, hey, why is that guy missing? Oh, he's doing something else that's more important than the giant monsters.
Yeah, here's
Oh,
another.
okay, cool.
Yeah, here's another random guy that does the exact same thing,
Yeah,
but this one's
it's that.
British.
I like the. I liked. So I have a funny thing with the guy from King of the Monsters. Like, you know, the dad.
Yes.
It to me is a perfect example of the old Japanese Godzilla like main characters, where he just seems to know everything. He is Captain Everything. He can talk to animals because he studies them all the time. He's a super inventor. He helped invent the thing that can talk to the monsters. For some reason, they bring him into the base and he takes control of everybody. He can control a room for some reason. The military will be like, "We're gonna go attack them." He'll be like, "No, no, listen to me," and they just will. Even though he has no like military credentials, they just listen to him. And I just think he's like, and that happens all the time in Godzilla films, where
No,
there's just like one main character that just does everything, and everyone listens to them.
I do love that trope. But now you mention it, thinking about, I'm reflecting of Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm like, you're right. He literally just turns up and he's like, "Oh, you should do this," and they always do that thing where they know things perfectly at the right moment,
Yeah,
and it's like, "Oh, what's happening here?" It's like Godzilla's coming. Oh, it's a threatening
yeah,
display. It's like, let's just close the doors and everything. He's just showing off that he's the boss, And it's like, how do you
yeah.
know? How do you know this stuff?
And like, I know he was in a little bit of Godzilla versus Kong, and I
Was
just
he?
wish he was the main character in all of them, because I think out of all of them, he's the one I enjoyed the most. I don't remember the actor's name,
I mean, yeah, but he
or
was,
the character's name,
yeah,
but I do love him.
he was really good, and I love that they have. I don't know if they've learned a lesson from from the last movie, but
Yeah.
the last movie suffered from. Oh, do you know who's big right now? Millie Bobby
Mm.
Brown. Let's put her in
Yeah.
everything, and they have suddenly realized she's not as fucking great as everyone thinks she is, and so she's not in this one.
Yeah.
Her character was annoying as hell.
Yeah,
King of the
I didn't
Monsters.
I didn't love her in Godzilla vs Kong. I didn't mind her in King of the Monsters. I thought she was fine in that one.
Yeah. But she
But
suffers from this. I'm the child of the main character, and I know fucking everything, which is not
yeah,
a thing on Millie Bobby Brown. It's a thing on those kind of characters that are in a lot of films where it's like, oh, my parents were the leads in the last movie, and I've grown up with them, so I know everything they do and more because I'm young and intellectual, and so they think
yeah,
they know better, and they usually end up making more trouble than they're worth.
yeah.
This is why I just don't like kids.
Well, see, this it's that thing. It's the only thing is I wouldn't mind it if Millie Bobby Brown was back, only because, again, it's the same thing we were just talking about, where like the cast just changes, and then I'm like, where's Millie Bobby Brown's character? She was caring about Godzilla a minute ago, and then you have to just be like, she's busy. More busy than the giant lizard that fires things out of its mouth. She's too busy for that.
She's
is she?
too busy
Okay.
for the nuclear giant lizard.
I'm sure her and her dad are doing something else that aren't looking after the giant monsters that
he-
are taking over the world.
Is he still alive, or did he die?
The dad?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, I think because he's only like in a little bit of Godzilla versus Kong, and then he just doesn't appear again.
Yeah, it's difficult. I need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah,
Because that's the problem. I go into these movies watching for, the giant monkey and the big lizard.
yeah,
So it's like, oh, who are these people? Whatever.
yeah. I'll tell you this from the trailer. This is the first time I think in a while where the human characters have not intrigued me at all. Where I am just very much like, all right, let's get to the.
True.
Let's
I'm
get
just
to the big
all I want to
monkeys.
see is lizard fighting dragon and monkey fighting ape. That's all I want to see. What's with Kong's new robot arm? It's the Infinity Gauntlet, man.
So it looks like the arm is like a brace. I think his arm is going to be broken by
Yeah.
the Scar King monkey. So I think the way to fix his arm is it's going to be like a metal brace, but it's also good for punching. That's what I think. I don't know if that's right at
That's
all.
the vibe I got, because I think there's a bit in the trailer where what's he called? Skull something?
The Scar King.
Scar King. Wow, it's so far off. Where he like whips his chain and it looks like it gets Kong's arm.
Mm.
And then you see the woman saying, "Oh, we've augmented him," and then it's like this
Yeah.
cool gauntlet thing going. Ching, ching, ching. So I think you have a point. It's like there to help him, but then also gives him like power punch.
Yeah. Because we just started selling the toys at my work, and I've just been like fascinating, like just looking at all of them and just fiddling. Because
It's like-
all of the King Kong toys, every single one of them comes with that arm.
Oh, really? Interesting. So do you reckon that's going to happen quite early on in the movie then? Because in most of the shots, he's wearing it.
I'm definitely going to think it's going to happen within the first like 40 minutes.
Fair.
I don't know how long the movie's going to be. I'd imagine it's going to be like maybe just over 2 hours.
Yeah, I thought the average about 2.5. I do like that. Looks like Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
Ah. I'm in a big Final Fantasy mood, so I'm into that.
That I respect that. That's another thing. I can't remember if I finished because they did that. The annoying thing when they remade Final Fantasy VII and they're like, oh, we'll make it as fucking 3 different games. And I got the original. I think I have it down there.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII remake. I can't remember how many years ago that was. I don't know if
For the first remake, it was 2019.
There you go. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I beat that game or not.
Yeah.
And I never played the original. So if I get the new one and start playing it, I'm going to be really fucking confused.
Yeah, I mean, I only played the original after I played the remake because I got so excited and I knew that it was going to be a long time before they're going to make the second one.
And then they made that other thing, like the prequel, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yes, it was the remaster of like Crisis Core or something.
Yeah, and I was like, I love Final Fantasy. It's so engaging, but it's like, please don't make me get like 5 different games.
There's a lot
to
to digest.
This one storyline. It's like I'm gonna wait until they make them all, and then 2 years later, when they bring back the Final Fantasy VII complete remake, and it's all in one box, and I'm like, thank you, make my life simple. Speaking of remasters of old games, though, my latest obsession, because I had to take a breath from Baldur's Gate because it was absorbing my every resting moment.
As I hear it does.
It has that effect. I have now started Persona 3 Reload.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I've never actually played any of the Personas, but
you're missing out.
There are some YouTubers that I know who like play them, or used to play. Some of them played like Persona 5 games, and I've watched the heck out of them.
When I first got Persona 5 a while ago, when it probably came out, I think I put about 130 plus hours into Persona 5.
Yeah.
And that's just to finish the fucking story. Because there's so much in it, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the mix of the social aspect and the day-to-day life, and then the combat and the shadowy things, and I loved it. And then Persona 5 Royal came out, which is essentially just the same game, but with a few extra bits. And so I put 100 hours into that.
Yeah,
I loved it. And then Persona 3, because I remember I've played a bit of Persona 4, because that had a remaster a while ago, and I had it on Steam. And I played some of that. I can't remember how far I didn't get super far into it, but I was enjoying it because it was kind of like Persona 5, but a bit older. And I was enjoying that. And I was like, I need to get back to it. And then I remember Persona 3 Persona 3 Portable came out on Game Pass, which was like the original port of the original Persona 3. And I played that for a little bit, and I went, "Ooh, this is a bit too old for me. This is this is a bit too visual novel compared to the gameplay of Persona 5, where you're walking around and do everything." And then literally like the weekend after I tried it, Atlas announced, "We're remastering Persona 3 and it will play like Persona 5." And I was like, get in, because I can essentially get to play the game again, but it's a different story, but same premise. And so that came out, I think it was like last weekend or something, or just a bit after than that, and I've already sunk like 20 hours into that game, because it does the animation, the gameplay, the graphics, it all looks pretty much the same as Persona 5. It's like, it looks completely different because it's set in a different area and different characters, but the graphics, the gameplay, I just fell straight into it. It's like combat, it works exactly the same. I'm like, yes, I already love it. It's a fresh story with the mechanics I love, which is weird. Sorry, I'm rambling a lot.
It's alright.
I hated turn-based combat. It's why I never played the original Final Fantasies.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I just don't do it. Because it used to just drive me nuts. I'm like, what kind of combat takes place, one by one? That's just dumb. And then Final Fantasy 15 came out, which was a hack and slash, and I fucking love that.
Yeah.
But then Persona 5 came out, and I think it was the anime part of it that hooked me, because I'm a big anime fan. I love a good slice of life. And I can't remember what I saw about it, but something just like grabbed my attention. I remember I was working at Argos at the time, and it came into stock, and I was putting stock away, and I had this game in my hand, I was putting it on the shelf, and it was Persona 5. I'm like, this looks vaguely interesting. Yeah. I don't know why. And then I bought it on a whim, and I've spent so much time sinking hours into it. So Persona 3 is just more of the same. And I don't know what my original point was, because I've just been rambling. It's really good. If anyone has played Persona 5 and they enjoyed it, and they want more of that, get Persona 3 Reload. And if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, it's on it, so it's free.
Well, there you go. I think I have the Game Pass.
Do it.
One of the things
Persona 5 Royal, also on Game Pass.
Oh, there you go. Talking for remakes for me, I really want to get the Tomb Raider remaster. that just came out yesterday.
No, I've seen it. I'm not huge into Tomb Raider, but I can imagine.
So
if
neither
you're a
was
big
I. I
fan.
mean, I want to get it just for the fact that like I couldn't do it when I was a kid.
Right.
Like I was never a big Tomb Raider kid, and I wasn't good at tank controls. But apparently the tank controls are optional in this new
Hey,
one. I think I would enjoy it more.
that's fair. I imagine that would be a thing. I'll try it too. I don't know what that was in response to.
That was for Persona.
Oh, do it, do it. But yeah, Tomb Raider. I imagine Tomb Raider. If that appears on Game Pass, I might give that a go because it's a classic and like it's a fan favorite by hundreds of people, so it must be good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also on my PlayStation now anyway, but like, have you heard of this game Helldivers 2?
Vaguely, I've seen a couple of videos
So
of it lately.
I'd never heard of this game at all,
I feel like it just came out
and
of
now I
nowhere.
can't get rid of it. I've not even played it.
I don't
but
even know.
Everyone's talking about it.
Wait, Helldivers 2. Was there? I think Helldivers came out on Game Pass as a day one game. The first
Probably.
one.
I mean, yeah, because like the old one's more like a top-down strategy.
Okay,
Kind of.
never mind. I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about then, because I was thinking about some different game. But like
No,
you,
this one's bizarre.
this
Like
just came out
apparently
of
the
nowhere.
first game was like an overtop like shooter with like multiple people. And I guess it was kind of like a comedy bit where you play as like these soldiers who go and fight these wars across space, and you're spreading democracy to these other planets.
Right.
And then they've made the second one. And again, I didn't know anything about this. I haven't bought it. I might buy it at some point. But like, it's like an online shooter, but it's now more like third person.
Fair.
And Henry and Joe.
I saw
I've been
their
playing it.
video. They seem like they're having fun. Oh, thank you for
Yeah.
follow Smack62 or Smack or Smack. I have no idea.
I
Thank you very
think
much.
that's my mother.
Hey.
I think if I had to guess, I think that was my mother who just followed us.
I'm not complaining. Hello, mother of Stephen. If that is you, if it's not, hello. Speaking of video games that you may or may not buy, because I have a strong feeling you probably do not own this game, and I don't own it. I've just said that if it comes out on Game Pass, I will get it because I've been very wishy-washy about it. Suicide
Yeah.
Squad.
Oh, I doubt I'll buy it.
That's all I'm like. It's like if it's on Game Pass, I'll download it and I'll play it. But
Yeah.
I'm not spending money on it.
So on the on the PlayStation Premium subscription, Gotham Knights is like able to be played, and I'd never played Gotham Knights before.
I enjoyed that.
And I started it, and I think it's all right. You know, I've only played the intro, but that's the only way I would play Suicide Squad is if it was like available to me, and I would try it out.
Same. It's like there's no way I'm paying money for that.
There's so many things I have a problem with that Suicide Squad game. Story-wise, I'm sure I would enjoy it, but there's just elements of it that I know that I already spoiled that game for myself because I was like, I don't think I'm going to play it, so I'm going to look it all up.
That's fair. TikTok has just ruined it all for me gradually.
Yeah.
I have a
Oh,
feeling.
that's my mum saying it is me.
Hey,
Hi, mum.
family support means the world.
Yeah.
My mother wished me the best. For the
I don't
podcast.
know. I appreciate the support, but she doesn't give a fuck about any of this. Like, she doesn't give a damn about the Suicide Squad game.
She
I think
should.
she messaged me just saying that she's got this on the background while she's like peeling wallpaper, which, you know, that's cool. I appreciate
I'll
that.
take it. That's what you do with a podcast. Who actually sits and watches an entire podcast? You have a podcast on in the
Yeah.
background. But no, I love the fact that your mum clearly, I'm assuming from the sounds of it, is not a geek.
Not at all.
But she's supportive. And
She
she's
didn't even
still-
like me watching SpongeBob SquarePants when I was a kid, so
See, well, I feel like it's an interesting paradigm because my mum is a huge geek. And she
Oh.
she wished me all the best for the podcast. She's like, hope it goes well. And she's like, even if you just have a laugh, hope it goes well.
yeah.
She will, I doubt she'll ever get this podcast up. She will not follow us. But she has the support. But it'd be stuff about that she'd be generally interested in.
Yeah.
Just finished the scraping? Oh!
Oh, you're scraping the wallpaper.
Save the wallpaper, yeah. I love how you knew that. What was I going to say a thing. Forgot what it was. Oh, so many things in my mind.
I know, there's a lot of ground to cover with this subject.
So much. What, about Suicide Squad or just geek?
I mean, yeah, like Suicide Squad has a bunch of stuff that I have problems with, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone that might be playing. We
Yeah,
may have to come
your
back
mum's
to that
probably
at
gonna-
some point down the road.
Yeah, I imagine your mum is very excited to get her hands on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
What? This is my anyone who's watching now. I'll probably give you like 2 weeks to play that game before I start spoiling stuff.
There you go. Next podcast. we're gonna rip the shit out of Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice
I have
League.
so many problems.
I feel like I've slowly been falling during this podcast. Suddenly, my feet feel a lot closer to the ground, so I'm just gonna raise my chair back up. I just suddenly realized I'm like, why are my knees so high? Oh, I was gonna say,
I'm just gonna very quickly, just because we were talking about other stuff that was coming out, and I'm just gonna quickly dive into this. Have you seen the behind the scenes images and stuff they've shown of the new Daredevil?
this was actually on my list. I did make a note of this. Yes, I was going to mention that because I'm a huge Daredevil fan. You can't see anything, but I have a costume fucking tucked away somewhere. But no, I did. I have seen the set photos. I'm trying to not look into them greatly because I want to go into the show blind. However, you can't avoid the new suit. What are your thoughts?
So I like the red. I like the bright red of it.
I'm
still sad it doesn't have the 2Ds on it, but that might come later. It's still them filming, and I believe it's still early on.
I'm fairly confident by the end of the series he'll have the double day.
Yeah, because what was getting me was the first behind the scene image of him, I didn't love, but then there was a second image that someone had taken of him on a fire escape.
Yeah.
And it looks straight out of the comics. And I was like, you know what? In that angle, I love the suit.
See, here's the problem. When the first pictures came out of the suit, it was a stunt double.
Yeah.
And I think they went on the stunt double, they're made to be a bit baggier. Yeah. So they can move better. So it just didn't look great. And then they released pictures of Charlie wearing the suit and him stood there and it just looks so much better. I mean, it looks a bit too armor for me, personally. I like it. It just looks a bit chunky.
Yeah.
But I do love the general aesthetic. I love the bright red. I love how it's more red. And the reason why I'm so confident the double D is going to be there is because the Netflix suit, the chest, the torso is very busy.
Yes.
Whereas this new one is not.
Yeah.
The whole upper region is very just clear, solid red. He's you have so much space to just.
Yeah.
So I'm quite optimistic that's going to appear. Just your mum wants to go see Madam Web.
Oh, Mum. You know what? You might enjoy it. Nobody else seems to be loving it, though. Nobody seems to be liking it.
I went to the cinema yesterday with my girlfriend to watch 10 Things I Hate About You, because they brought it for the cinema, which is a phenomenal movie. It's such a good film.
Cute. Yeah.
If I had to pick a rom-com that I love, it's 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
And the trailers came on, and Madam Web trailers kicked in, and I turned to her and went, oh, the reviews coming in for this, apparently it's meant to be absolute shit. And she went, oh, really? And I went, yeah. And she watched the trailer. She turned to me, she's like, oh, no, it looks pretty good. I'm like, no.
See, that's the problem. The trailers make it look good. Because even I was like, oh, the trailer looks good.
That's the thing. All the good bits of the movie, trailer. And then and then you have to watch the rest of it. Most of the time I'm like, I'll make my own opinion, but I'm like, I trust all these people's opinions.
Thing is, Mom, I don't think you'll care enough about the stuff that people hate about it, so I think you actually might be all right with it.
That's it.
I think you'd watch it and be like, that was fine at best. Whereas everyone has problems with the little things in that film.
True. But I feel like if me and you went for it, we'd go to it for the superhero element and the comic book element.
Yes.
Whereas I feel like...
apparently that's not the big element of it.
Apparently not. Whereas your mum might go see it for the story element or the character element, which I'm assuming there might be some of.
I'm sure there's some form of plot in there.
Do you know what really put the nail in the coffin for me? Was literally about half an hour before we started this podcast. I was on Instagram, and someone I follow they got into the interview racket for the Madam Web press tour, and she was talking to the 3 girls who are the Spider Women. I don't know the actresses' names.
Yeah,
but she asked them, it's like, oh, if you could summarize Madam Web in 3 words, what would it be? And all 3 of them were saying stuff like, in cinemas now, go buy a ticket, bring a friend, stuff like that. No one actually said anything about the movie.
Not actually about the film at all.
So it's like, They all really dodged that question.
Yeah. Tricky.
I can't imagine what it'd be like. Because, I imagine you're a similar thing, because you have the experience of being an extra and you've been on a TV show like myself. And you're willing to do this sort of thing. So I imagine you have a similar mentality of me where it's like, wouldn't it be fun to one day maybe be an actor?
Yeah.
And this is what I think about. Could you imagine being an actor in a movie or a show that you personally know is shit?
Yeah.
But then you have to do press for it and have to sell it.
Yeah. I mean, I would commit.
Oh
If
yeah.
I'm getting paid for it, I'm gonna commit. I'll be telling everybody to bring all your friends and be like, it's the best movie you've ever seen. I'd flat out lie to you. That's why you wouldn't be able to trust me as an actor. Like you give me a bunch of money, I'll say whatever you want me to say.
There you go. That's that's a good actor.
I'll lie to you point blank in the face and tell you that the film's gonna win an Oscar.
It's like I don't know if I managed to ask Matt Edmondson this question. I wanted to, and
Yeah.
and it's a similar thing. I imagine you might have some experience with this because you did. Do you still do your radio show?
Not anymore. No, I did do stuff for like hospital radio, but no, I didn't. I stopped that.
But the question still stands because you have some experience with radio.
Yeah.
Because every now I don't listen to radio all that often, but when I
Yeah.
do, you always hear these people like, "Oh my god!" And here's this new track from this artist. This is so good. This
Yeah.
is the best music I've heard in the last 2 weeks. And then they play it, and I'm thinking, that was bullshit.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that? Have you ever had to like blatantly go, "Oh my god, have you heard this great new track by blah blah blah"?
I haven't had to do it with a new track. Actually, I probably did in college radio. There was probably a bunch of times where I had like a new track that we had to, because obviously with college radio, you usually got to do whatever you wanted. Occasionally, you might be like, "Well, I'm gonna just practice and do the charts," and sometimes I just wouldn't know what was on there because I didn't really listen to the charts all the time, which was bad when you're studying radio. But like, you know, my radio show for like college and stuff was mostly like, I'm gonna play you some rock music. We're just gonna do an hour of rock.
As you should.
But occasionally I'd have to do something like that was popular at the time, and I would just have to make it up and be like, "Oh, this amazing new track by this person," and I would listen to it and be like, "No idea what that is. I don't even know what genre this is." Here we go, and you just have to go with it.
The world's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking we should probably start bringing this to a close because we're coming
Wrapping it
up
up.
on the 2 hours. However, before we finish, I just want to do a quick one of like, what is your like go-to obsession right now? What is your absorbing any and all free time you have?
So, right now, the thing that's absorbed, so it's that I've got a video game that's absorbing my life and a TV show that's absorbing my life. Two things we actually just talked about recently. Final Fantasy VII, I'm finishing again because I was looking forward to the second game, the one that's coming out, Rebirth.
Yeah.
But I wasn't it wasn't hitting me until they released the new demo that came out, and I replayed it, and I'm now so excited. I cannot wait for the second one. And it comes out the end of this month, so I'm trying to rattle through the remake, and it's such a long game.
It is chunky.
Because I want to do all the side quests and stuff as well, and I need to like stop. TV show wise, I'm rewatching all of Daredevil,
Nice.
and I just finished the Punisher arc in the second series.
Oh, the
So
first half
I'm
of
very
season
much
2.
into the ninja stuff now.
Respect.
What about you? What are you doing apart from Baldur's Gate? I guess.
So apart from Baldur's Gate and Persona 3, my biggest because I have a 40-minute drive to and from work.
Oh.
So my big thing for the longest time was Critical Role podcast,
Yeah.
which I'm a huge fan of. I am like 3 episodes away from the end of campaign 1.
Right.
But I'm currently taking a little break from that, and my new favorite podcast I'm listening to is Talkville.
Okay.
Have you heard of Talkville?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've ever listened to it.
So, if anyone like me, and possibly Stephen, I don't know, is a big fan of the TV show Smallville, which came out in the early 2000s.
I know what this is.
Talkville is a podcast hosted by Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling, who played Lex Luthor and Clark Kent, respectively, and it's a rewatch podcast. So every episode, they go back and they rewatch an episode of Smallville, and then they talk about it, like behind-the-scenes stuff, and review it, and it's just really interesting. And so I'm just like episode 3 of season 2 of that. So that's my like audible time consumption thing. TV show wise, I'm currently not watching anything by myself. That being said, I've just been able to get back onto Netflix, so I need to watch He-Man.
Oh man, He-Man was so. Have you seen the first one?
I've seen Revolution.
Revelation?
Yeah.
Revolution is amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
I already loved Revelation, but Revolution is so good. It's only 5 episodes.
that's fine.
I'll get you ready for that because I didn't expect it to be that short, but the shortness works for it.
Oh, that's good. Does it feel like a movie just in 5 bits?
Maybe. I mean, I honestly couldn't take because I binged it in a day. I didn't expect. I was like gonna try and take my time with it, but I just couldn't stop watching.
I remember I was gonna watch it, But when I went onto Netflix, like Netflix was like, "Oh, you're not allowed to address this account is too," and I was like, "Oh, fuck's sake," because my family have a Netflix account. We all have profiles on this one Netflix account, and they didn't let me in. And then I just didn't touch Netflix for like a week. And then the other day I just hit Netflix and it logged me in. And I was like, "Oh, cool! I have Netflix again." So I need to watch He-Man. So that'll be me by myself. But with my partner, because I am slowly pulling her into our world of geek, as you may have seen, because I managed to take her to a Comic-Con not long ago, and she actually cosplayed, which we will go into in more detail in a future episode. Otherwise, we'll be here for 5 fucking hours. But
Absolutely.
we are currently rewatching all of New Doctor Who together. We are just about to watch the finale for season 4.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
so
a good one.
very good episodes. We're looking forward to that, and I'm not.
That means you've tortured her and left her on that cliffhanger with David Tennant.
Yep, but it's really funny because I'd like to. I don't like to make her suffer, but I have to remind her that she has it lucky. That it's all right there. Because we'll watch an episode, and I'm like, okay, now imagine the next episode ain't gonna come out for 3 months. Imagine my pain. I have to go for it. I have to wait for this shit. But then she also refuses, if it's a 2-part, she refuses to just watch one part. It's like we have to watch both episodes in one night. Yeah. And so there was one time I was at her house. We only had time for one episode. Mm-hmm. And it was, we just watched, what was the episode? I know the episode. I know it. We just watched the Lazarus Experiment.
Yeah.
And so the next episode was Human Nature.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell her it was a 2-parter. Because she always asks me, she's like, "Is this a 2-part or is this a single one?" And she didn't ask me, so I didn't say anything. So I was like, "Oh yeah, let's watch this one." Because we only got time for one episode. And at the end, it was like, because she's like, "I can't believe you didn't tell me it's a 2-part." I'm like, I guess you have to wait, bye. But since then, she has been like on my ass about it. Every time it starts, it's like, "Is this a 2-part?" It's like, "Is this 2-part?" Yeah. It's like, "Oh, we don't have time for it. We can't watch it tonight." I'm like, ah. So watching that. And also, because I was telling her about Talkville, she asked me about Smallville, and so I told her about Smallville. I'm like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of Smallville. I have it all on DVD and Blu-ray." And she was like, "Oh, that actually sounds really good," because she was saying that she likes the early 2000s teen drama shows, and so it has a lot of that, and plus it benefits.
Very like Buffy, but with Superman in it.
Exactly. And so she's like, "Oh, should we watch that together?" I'm like, "Don't ask me twice. If you want to watch Smallville, we can watch Smallville." So we're now 2 episodes into season 1 of Smallville. So we're watching Doctor Who and Smallville. So I am a very happy man.
Yeah,
it's winning. So yes. Anytime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching Doctor Who, but for different reasons. I've been making a lot of memes recently.
Oh yes.
So I am like scanning through episodes. I'm not even like watching the whole thing. Sometimes I'll just get like a memory of a line, and I'll try and find it on an episode to see if I can remember it. Because I've just been doing this stupid thing since December.
I love
where I just did a random meme. It blew up, and then I just went, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing this until the likes stop coming.
There you go. That first one was great though. Was it like me and my mum's car? It's like,
yes,
I told you like a nice button. Ooh, I do like a good button.
I thought it was perfect. It was perfect the way it worked out for me there. I was like, that is exactly what I was like.
But no, you are a supreme Doctor Who meme page, which is why I made sure to mention it in my promotion video.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. But that's another thing about Doctor Who is that I'm refusing to let my girlfriend watch any new Who. So she has not watched the 60th anniversary. She has not watched the Christmas special. It's like, you are not allowed to watch any of this because you do not know anything. So it's like, fair. You can catch up, and then one day we'll be watching new episodes together. But then I said, but also I will be watching new episodes as they come out, and you cannot watch them.
Yeah.
Because I am not going without.
Yeah.
But no, yes. So that's another thing. Doctor Who was on my list. It's like, let's do a proper catch up with Doctor Who. But there's just so much geeky things in the world and not enough time in the
Most
day.
of this was just trying to catch up to this week's stuff.
Exactly.
I haven't even got back to the past stuff.
I don't even know if we covered it. It's like we didn't even talk about the new X-Men trailer.
I know.
For the new show, yeah. Which, to be honest, I wouldn't have much to talk about because I haven't actually watched the original cartoon. Shame on me.
I highly recommend. I mean, it's 5 seasons.
Yeah, it's chunky. That's why I've never done it, because I'll go to watch it and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of episodes, and I imagine it's quite dated. And
especially if you have like favorite characters and some storylines they're just not there for a while, and you're just like, all right, cool. Guess I have to watch this.
See, but the thing is, if you remember watching it as a kid, you don't mind watching it again as an adult, even if it's dated, because it has that nostalgia aspect to it.
Yeah.
It's like, I can rewatch the original 90s Spider-Man.
Yes.
and other
100%.
and other kids cartoons from when I was a kid that I remember watching because the nostalgia keeps me going, it keeps me excited.
Yeah.
But something like X-Men, which I've only ever seen like little clips of, I love the intro. I've seen the intro 100 times. I listen to it all the time. It's great. But I never watched the show. And so if I try to watch the show, it's just so dated and it doesn't have that nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just find it so hard to like stay invested.
That's it. I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I thought the old show was great. I actually preferred another cartoon called X-Men Evolution that came out when I was a kid.
I didn't watch that either, but I remember hearing lots of good things about it.
I mean, that one's probably still dated as well, but at least I grew up with that one more than I did the other one.
That's fair, that's fair. It's why I can watch Power Rangers now. Because I grew up on Power Rangers, and even I can tell, I know how cheesy and corny it is, but it has that nostalgia aspect to it, so I can watch it and I can enjoy it. I have Power Rangers on my cosplay list.
I mean, yeah, like I'm gonna, not that I want to advertise another podcast, but like me and a friend of mine that I used to live with, we have been talking for ages about doing a Power Rangers podcast. Like, we just haven't got around to actually recording it. But like, he loves Power Rangers, and I don't remember a thing about them. So like, it's one of those podcasts where we're gonna watch the episode and he's gonna tell me all the things behind it, but I'm just gonna be watching it kind of blind. Like, I remember bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But like, he's up to date.
Oh,
like, he's watching all the new stuff, whereas I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm way out of it. But it's so funny to think about, because I'll see like clips, like old clips, and I was like, wow, that was rad when I was a kid.
It was great. I mean, I've seen some of the newer stuff, and I can't watch that. But it's like Power Rangers when I was a kid. I can rewatch those. You know, like Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD. That era of Power Rangers I can love, and I one day will definitely cosplay the Black Dino Ranger.
Yeah.
Which you may or may not remember or know, but
I remember that one.
Yeah, tell me all
anything that Tommy did, I remember.
Because that's like my favorite Power Ranger of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, we should really be going off. We've been here for just shy of 2 hours, and as much as I would love to sit here and talk to you all night long, we probably shouldn't.
I've still got to make food.
I made sure I got some soup in beforehand. I was like, get that. But no. So, right. What's the plan?
As in for the rest of my night?
No, for the future of the podcast. But sure. What's your evening plans besides dinner?
It'll be right into Final Fantasy VII. I got to get as much of that done as I can.
Respect. I'm probably going to start watching He-Man. It depends what I turn on first, either Netflix or the Xbox.
Yeah.
But no. So, future plan for podcast, which we don't really know. The ideal is at least every other Thursday, because supposedly my work shift should be late's one week, early's the next. So the ideal is to do this podcast every week I'm on an early shift. And I don't know how he ended up on Thursday, but I'm assuming it's just like the most ideal day.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember either. I don't think it has to be Thursday, because I finish the same time every day.
Fair enough.
Which is like 6 o'clock.
Cool. I'm assuming you live around the corner from your house, because you got home very fast.
I'm about... Well, so I finished a little earlier today, so I'm about 25 minutes to half an hour walk away.
Fair. And we seem to have mastered the technological side of the training.
Yeah.
So we don't need a lot of time ahead of time to get it all going. So run it. We've got it. Rem helped us with the chat. We've had at least roughly 7 or 8 followers throughout this first episode, which we're very grateful. Thank you to everyone.
Yes, thank you all so much.
You all are legendary people. I like how we've pretty much knew every single person that appeared. So thank you, friends that actually have turned up to say
thank
hi.
you, Mom and Sam and Joe.
Oh, we're actually naming people.
Well, I just because I can still see them in the chat. That I can see the comments, and I'm like,
I can see. I saw that Squid followed, Maunda, Rem, and I think that was everyone from my side. And it's really funny because like I had people who followed us and even subscribed in like the last day, and as far as I'm aware, they weren't even here for the first episode. But I appreciate them, what the message that it gives, and I hope to see them.
Love.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see them in a future episode, which we are aiming for episode 2 to be on a date that's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
unless we just get really eager and we have some free time, we might do a spontaneous one. That's the great thing
Who
about
knows? Yeah, that's the thing.
streaming. We can just stream it live, and then
If
hopefully
you follow us on our social medias, you'll probably get a little update when we might do it.
that is true. I'm trying to be more aware on social media, which you'll also notice I've put on the stream. I don't know if you can read it, but you notice underneath our faces is our Instagrams.
Yep.
So just in case anyone who isn't following, give us a follow, because lately this podcast is all I talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to continuing it. It's like I have so many ideas in my head. We're gonna hopefully improve the podcast as we go. I have a guy who's gonna try and make some music for us. So the music I used at the beginning, I don't think anyone was here, but it's from like a royalty-free website. I think it's called Ben Sounds. It's a very generic sci-fi thing. That will eventually be replaced, hopefully, by some music made for us. So it'll be a completely unique our podcast music, which will be great. I believe my girlfriend's going to make us a logo, which will also be cool. And I have so many ideas, thinking of possibly getting some guests on with us, having like a third member. I have a feeling those episodes are probably going to turn more into like a interrogation episode, where it's not really a discussion. It's more of a, hello, new person, what is your opinion on this?
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that? I have so many ideas, dude. It's like maybe some episodes might be purely one thing focused. It's like we might have an episode that's like 100% Doctor Who. It's like, oh, today we're going to be ranking our favorite doctors and why, and stuff like that. Because we could
give me that episode.
Yeah, we could go on about stuff like that for a very long time. So many things to look forward to. I'm excited.
Me too, man.
And
you know what? I just like having a chat with you. Me and James don't get to talk a lot, so this has been great.
Exactly. It's a great excuse to be able to catch up and chat. Because I remember, because I'm going to story time again, because clearly we can't get the message that we really should stop talking. But last July, I moved down from the north of England down to the south. And so there are not that many people around here that I get along with. Well, I get along with people I work with, but I don't know a lot of people local to me. And so it's difficult to get a good geeky conversation in with someone who I know is on my level. So this is just a great excuse to be able to talk to someone who I know is a geeky person, who I know I can hold a good conversation with, and we get to share it with the rest of the world. So I'm leaving. We're going, Squid. We're going. I just said we have a problem with saying goodbye.
That comment kind of felt like, those old timey theater people that used to have like the hook that would come in and like drag people out of the frame. That kind of feels like what that is.
Okay, we're done. We look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night, Stephen. You're an absolute legend.
Thanks very much, man. Thanks for having me, and thank you to all the people that have tuned in.
Catch you next time, you beautiful bastards. Peace out. That did not. My mic's still going.